Look at the map. 70% of your world is hidden beneath the surface of the ocean. They told you the Great Collapse was contained to the land. This is the final, greatest geographical lie. The mud flood did not just bury cities. It submerged entire Tartarian continents and their colossal ocean cities, and the 19th century elite invented monsters to keep you away. We have suppressed sonar images that clearly show geometric, intelligent structures lying miles beneath the surface, confirming the existence of the lost ocean cities. That we will expose the Tartarian Water Purifier Artifact, a device capable of converting endless seawater into clean energy, a technology the Cabal seized and suppressed to enforce the lie of water scarcity. We will decode the faked maritime maps and the chilling reason why 19th century explorers drew terrifying sea monsters over vast, unmapped ocean regions. This documentary will take you to the floor of the ocean and reveal the true purpose of the deep-sea trenches. Watch until the very end, subscribe this channel, like this video, and you will learn the exact location of the most technologically advanced Tartarian ocean city. The conspiracy is titled, "The global catastrophe of the mud flood was compounded by a massive, sudden rise in sea levels, likely triggered by the engineered climate shifts." The Tartarian Empire had extensive coastal and deep-sea infrastructure, and this sudden inundation submerged it instantly. The new elite, unable to access or secure the technology in the deep, resorted to deterrence. The visual lie was the first defense. The next segment will expose the chilling truth behind the 19th century sea monster folklore. It was a coordinated, visual propaganda campaign to keep ships away from the critical submerged Tartarian ruins. The sea monster folklore of the 19th century was not superstition. It was a calculated, visual deterrence campaign orchestrated by the controlling Cabal to protect the submerged Tartarian cities. The Cabal needed to ensure that no private vessel, fishermen, or independent explorers stumbled upon the colossal, underwater ruins. Their method: psychological warfare through cartography. The famous, exaggerated drawings of kraken, sea serpents, and massive leviathans that suddenly appeared on 19th century maritime maps and charts were designed to 1. Instill terror. The threat of mythical beasts provided a non-military, non-political reason for sailors to avoid vast, unmapped regions. 2. Mask ruins. The drawings were often placed directly over the geographical coordinates of the largest, most visible submerged Tartarian temples and cities, making the area a danger zone. The evidence is clear in the archives. The 19th century geographical societies received enormous, unexplained funding increases to commission these decorative, yet terrifying illustrations. The sea monster was the sentinel of the silent, submerged empire. The monsters protected the surface of the sea. But the true Tartarian technology lay in controlling the very water itself. The next segment will expose the true, suppressed purpose of the water purifier artifact and how its disappearance impacts your drinking water today. The Tartarian Empire lived in harmony with the sea. They possessed the water purifier artifact, a device that proved clean, abundant water was always achievable. The Cabal seized this artifact to enforce scarcity, directly impacting your life and your water bill today. This artifact, often described in suppressed logs as a crystalline sphere with internal resonance coils, was seized from a submerged Tartarian laboratory. Its true function was non-energy filtration and desalination, capable of turning any volume of seawater into potable, clean water instantly. The Cabal's motivation for suppressing this technology was simple: monetization. By establishing a need for complex filtration, plumbing, and chemical treatment, they created massive, profitable monopolies around water supply. The pollution in your current water supply is a direct, engineered consequence of suppressing the Tartarian purifier. The artifact proved abundance was possible, but the Cabal had to fake the exploration of the ocean to prove nothing existed. The next segment will expose the shocking truth about the 19th century's deep-sea expeditions. They were military cleanup operations disguised as scientific research. The famous marine exploration expeditions of the 19th century, The voyages of discovery into the deep trenches were not about science. They were covert military cleanup operations designed to secure and remove Tartarian technology. The elite needed to 1. Secure artifacts. Retrieve powerful, intact artifacts like the water purifier from accessible shallow ruins before independent explorers could find them. 2. Neutralize threats. Use deep-sea explosives to destroy the most prominent, visible Tartarian structures that could not be concealed by the monster maps. The official expedition logs and photographs were meticulously fabricated. The deep-sea photos, often showing vast, empty plains or isolated geological features, were designed to reinforce the narrative that the deep sea was empty and lifeless. This was a visual firewall against the truth. The cleanup operations were successful, but the greatest remaining Tartarian threat was the underwater energy grid. The next segment will reveal the secret of the massive, luminous trenches. They are not natural features. They're the severed power lines of the submerged civilization. The deep ocean trenches, often noted by early 19th century mariners for their strange, localized bioluminescence and magnetic anomalies, are not natural geological features. They are the severed power conduits of the submerged Tartarian energy grid. The Tartarian ocean cities were linked by massive, kilometers-long crystalline cables that provided free energy. The mudflood catastrophe ruptured these cables. The glowing, magnetic anomalies reported in the 19th century are the result of 1. Residual energy. The ruptured cables still emit trace amounts of Tartarian free energy, causing bioluminescence and magnetic interference. 2. Strategic destruction. The deep trenches themselves may have been created by the energy surge from the ruptured cables, turning the seabed into a scar. The 19th century elite promoted the theory of deep-sea vents or unexplained biological activity to neutralize the reports. The ocean, like the land, is covered by a technological lie, hidden by the chaos of nature. The energy grid is ruptured, but the biggest fear of the elite was the Tartarian escape system. The next segment will reveal the shocking evidence that the submerged volcanoes and deep-sea vents were not natural features. They were Tartarian emergency, escape pods, and environmental control systems. The greatest remaining Tartarian threat was the underwater escape system. The next segment will reveal the shocking evidence that the submerged volcanoes and deep-sea vents were not natural features. They were Tartarian emergency, escape pods, and environmental control systems. The Tartarian deep-sea cities were self-sustaining. The 19th century elite noticed unusual heat and seismic activity near known submerged ruins. This was not magma. It was the activation of emergency environmental systems. We believe that Tartarian technology utilized controlled geothermal vents to power its cities and to facilitate rapid, submerged escape. The controllers disguised this phenomenon as 1. Volcanic activity, normalizing the strange heat and seismic activity as natural, geological threats. 2. Deep-sea vents, mislabeling the enormous, complex Tartarian pipes and release mechanisms as simple, natural geological features. The 19th century deep-sea expeditions often focused on these volcanic zones, not for study, but to destroy the remaining functional infrastructure that could potentially allow Tartarian survivors to breach the surface to justify the constant presence of naval forces near the submerged ruins. The 19th century elite manufactured fake photographs of naval battles and maritime emergencies. Look at the photographic record of 19th century naval conflicts. The images often show 1. Implausible damage. Ships appear to be sinking from non-specific damage, consistent with the sudden, localized energy effects of Tartarian defense systems, not cannon fire. 2. Staged wreckage. Wreckage from older, non-combat ships was often salvaged and placed near Tartarian zones to justify rescue missions and provide cover for artifact retrieval. The fake naval battle photographs were crucial for 2 reasons. They maintained the official narrative of ongoing military conflict, and they provided a plausible reason for military quarantine around areas containing accessible Tartarian technology. The naval war was the final cover for the artifact war. The secrecy surrounding the water purifier artifact required the elite to also eliminate its blueprints. We reveal the hydrological blueprint artifact, a document disguised as a 19th century scientific chart. This artifact, seized by military intelligence, was an intricate, hand-drawn chart detailing the Tartarian non-energy desalination and purification system. It was disguised as one. Tidal chart, a simple navigational map showing tides and currents. Point 2. Geological survey, a chart of the sea floor's rock density. The chart was suppressed because it provided the working schematics for infinite, clean water, posing an existential threat to the Cabal's water and resource monopolies. The suppression of this single blueprint is the ultimate proof that the 19th century elite intentionally designed a world of artificial scarcity that continues to plague us today. The entire bathymetric map of the 19th century is a lie. The elite executed a faked depth-sounding hoax to conceal the shallow, accessible nature of the Tartarian cities and make them appear impossibly deep. Early 19th century deep-sea sounding expeditions often returned data showing immense, non-existent depths over known Tartarian submerged ruins. This was achieved by 1. Trained agents. Key scientists and navigators on the expeditions were part of the cover-up, instructed to report false, exaggerated depth measurements. Point 2. Technological manipulation. Using subtle electromagnetic interference, perhaps from the light scramble artifact, to deliberately confuse the early, primitive-sounding equipment. The vast, empty blackness of the deep ocean, as portrayed in 19th century science, was a manufactured illusion. It ensured that no independent party would ever attempt to reach the submerged cities, guaranteeing their safety and concealment. The eerie 19th century phenomenon of ghost ships, vessels found adrift with no crew, was not a mystery of the sea. It was a terrifying side effect of the Tartarian sonic defense grid still operating beneath the waves. The Tartarians maintained a passive sonic defense system around their deep-sea cities. We believe this system was triggered by the intrusion of 19th century iron and steel vessels. The sonic pulses would, 1. Incapacitate crew. The low-frequency infrasound would cause mass psychological terror, sickness, or immediate death. The panic artifact technology, but submerged. Point 2. Leave no trace. The system neutralized the crew without physically damaging the ship, creating the perfect, terrifying mystery that solidified the sea monster narrative and kept sailors away. The ghost ship phenomenon is the final, haunting proof that the submerged Tartarian defense system is still active and continues to guard the lost continents beneath the waves, that we have exposed the fake depths and the sonic sentinels. But the ultimate control over the oceans lies in a single Tartarian magnetic artifact, a device that dictates all global navigation. The final part will reveal where this powerful device is hidden and why every compass on Earth is lying to you. The ultimate control over the world's oceans lies in a single Tartarian magnetic artifact, a device that dictates all global navigation. The final part will reveal where this powerful device is hidden and why every compass on Earth is lying to you. You have seen the ghost ships and the fake depths. If this evidence confirms that all global navigation is controlled, make sure you subscribe to the Epoch Reset channel and hit the like button right now, because we are about to reveal the secret location of the artifact that controls Earth's magnetic field. This artifact, described as a massive, perfectly balanced metal pendulum or gyroscope housed in a crystalline chamber, was seized by the 19th century elite. Its true function was to stabilize and calibrate the Earth's natural magnetic grid, a critical component of the Tartarian free energy system. The Cabal could not destroy it, so they hid it in a secure, isolated location, likely an inaccessible island fortress or a submerged military base. By gaining control over the device, they gained the power to 1. Manipulate compasses. The artifact's suppressed energy emissions cause subtle, unpredictable shifts in magnetic north, ensuring that all conventional navigation is inherently flawed. Point 2. Geographical control. It justifies the constant need for updated maps and scientific expeditions, ensuring perpetual government control over global shipping lanes. The magnetic artifact is the ultimate proof that the entire global shipping and navigation industry is built upon a foundational, deliberate lie. The enduring myth of Atlantis in 19th century literature and philosophy was not an accident. It was a psychological firewall created by the elite to neutralize the true threat. The actual, sophisticated Tartarian ocean cities. The cabal needed to explain the occasional discovery of colossal, impossible stone ruins beneath the ocean. Their solution: mythologize the truth. They funded writers and explorers to promote the idea of Atlantis as a single, fictional island that sank thousands of years ago. This narrative achieved two goals. 1. Chronological displacement. It pushed the memory of the advanced submerged civilization back into a safe, irrelevant past, separating it from the recent mud flood catastrophe. 2. Limited scope. By focusing on one fictional city, they ensured the public would ignore the overwhelming evidence of the vast, interconnected Tartarian ocean infrastructure. The myth of Atlantis is the 19th century elite's brilliant psychological weapon. A fictional story used to hide a massive, historical truth. The greatest physical evidence of the Tartarian ocean cities lies in the suppressed maritime artifacts recovered by fishermen and naval forces throughout the 19th century. These artifacts were often complex, non-corroding metal instruments, perfect crystalline spheres, or unusual clock mechanisms brought up from the deep. These finds were immediately labeled as junk or wreckage and removed from public records. The existence of these artifacts proved that the seabed was not just rock and sand. It was a massive technological graveyard. The cabal systematically eliminated any physical proof that a sophisticated civilization existed beneath the waves, ensuring that the only narrative was one of empty trenches and sea monsters. The final geographical lie of the ocean is the falsification of the polar maritime maps. The 19th century maps of the Arctic and Antarctic oceans were deliberately altered to conceal accessible, navigable water and the entrances to the hollow earth. The maps were manipulated to show 1. Impenetrable ice. Vast, continuous ice sheets where early explorers reported open, navigable water. This maintained the geographical quarantine of the forbidden terrain. 2. False coastlines. Coastlines were deliberately made vague or incomplete to prevent independent verification of land masses beyond the conventional poles. This systematic manipulation of the polar maritime maps proved that the 19th century elite considered the oceans not as pathways for discovery, but as barriers for containment. The entire fleet of 19th century explorers were unwitting participants in a massive geographical hoax. We have exposed the final secrets of the ocean. The magnetic artifact that controls navigation, the mythological lie of Atlantis, and the systematic falsification of the deep sea maps. The oceans are not empty. They're the final, largest archive of the Tartarian civilization. The ultimate lesson is that the global lie of scarcity is directly linked to the seizure and concealment of the Tartarian Water Purifier and the oceanic energy grid. Their control over the oceans is the key to their control over the planet. We have revealed the final military secrets and the true purpose of the sea monsters. If this video has shattered your perception of the world's oceans, then subscribe to Epoch Reset, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment below right now. Tell us, do you believe the Tartarian ocean cities are still inhabited? And what is the biggest secret you think the military is guarding in the deep ocean trenches today?